Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Crownsmen Show. I'm your host, Jared Downey. Joining me today is Gowdy Molina. How are you, Gowdy?
Good.
Good, good. You
Oh.
finding some hair there?
Yeah, my hair is so long, it goes everywhere.
I don't have that problem. Um, okay, today on the show, we have Adam Fisher. He is the inventor of Ditch Doctor, and we actually have another product that he's introduced into the market called Dredge Doctor. I've been hounding Adam to come on the show for a little while, so finally he let me do the interview. They've got a cool product. They're out of back east, and so it's just and they're Canadian. They're selling into the U.S. already, so just lots of exciting things that I want to talk to him about. Before we do any of that, Gowdy,
Yes.
who is advertising their brand on our show today?
Alrighty, so today we have Savannah Equipment. Savannah Equipment supplies new and used mining equipment around the world, from placer to underground to ore processing plants. They have gold concentrating tables, trommels, and mineral jigs in stock now to take advantage of the high gold prices. You can visit them at savannahequipment.com, where you will find more equipment every day. Of course, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and come on if you'd like to be a guest on the show. Email us info@crownsmen.com. Again, subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss a single episode. And last but not least, we have Power Zone. When you need a specialized team of world class engineers for your oil and gas pipelines, dewatering, or any fluid handling needs, you want to visit powerzone.com. In addition to their inventory of rebuilt pumps, motors, engines, they also have an amazing team to design and engineer your systems, no matter the challenge, no matter the location. Get in the zone with Power Zone. Visit them at powerzone.com. Alrighty.
Okay. Gowdy is shutting off.
Now we're good.
Off my mic. Do I really make that much noise while you're doing your intro?
No comment.
Okay, Adam, welcome to the show. Excited to finally have you on. I think I've been I think during 2020 I think I hounded you for a few months. So thank you for finally coming on, and let's kick off a very simple question. Why did you start designing these products? Was that your background? Were you already in the industry?
Uh, First of all, thank you very much for having me on the show, Jared and Dottie. It's nice to meet you, and thank you to your sponsors. We ran a small excavation business in Nova Scotia, Canada, that primarily focused on ditching, drainage activity, and dredging activities on um, lagoons and small craft harbors for fisheries and some private marinas. So, but we started the business, mainly the agricultural sector, doing work for Department of Agriculture as well. So that's entailed a lot of drainage maintenance. So in Nova Scotia, we have some of the oldest infrastructure in North America. So like a lot of dike systems and farmland that runs on very low grade. So through my dredging business, things have to be cleaned out fairly regularly. So it seemed to be a good. The customers didn't really want to have to bucket clean it with the conventional methods every time. So that gets very expensive and very invasive to the environment. As a lot of the ground here is sandy or very light soil. So when you remove the vegetation from the side slopes, it just creates a lot of erosion. So, that was like a lot of the customers didn't want that because, the vegetation was the only thing really stabilizing the banks. So we were looking for a method just to maintain the channel, which inadvertently creates a buffer zone and at the same time a two-stage ditch. So there's a lot of benefits to it, and the main one was, the necessity to do regular maintenance and have it be able to do it efficiently and effectively. So.
So and I think it would be helpful to go back to what is the original way of doing it? How is everybody else? Well, a lot of people are still doing it the old way, but what is the system that's used?
Yeah, well, this back in back in the 1980s when recycling, repurposing was really coming into the forefront. It was all done basically by drag lines or excavators. And I remember in the early 80s, asked my dad when we were doing it with a drag line, cleaning a huge drainage canal, you know, with the conventional bucket method. I just said, why do they do it this way? Why isn't there another way? As other things are becoming obsolete, and this is just something, one of the few applications that really hasn't been uh, mechanized.
Yeah.
So it's just the conventional. You scoop it out with a bucket, you either truck it away and deal with it in a approved location to dump the material, or you level it and doze it, and then first you have to wait for it to dry out, then you level it, then you have to reseed it, and then wait for the grass to grow back. So it's very expensive, very invasive, and time consuming.
And then you do it all again? I mean, how often would you have to do that? Every couple of years? I'm not very familiar with it, so
Yeah. Well, some areas yeah, every initially until things get the banks get stabilized and a efficient uh, channel gets established. It lasts substantially longer then, but yeah, some areas every 3 to 5 years, 7 years, they have to be cleaned out. But those are, once it seems you go past the 7 year mark, things are almost back to where you started again.
You're doing it all over again. Let's talk about
Yeah.
the actual product, Adam, because so obviously a lot of people won't have known. It's still fairly new to the market. How long has it been? How long has it been in commercial use that you've actually been selling units?
We started selling units in 2017, and uh, so that was a very big step for us. And we manufacture the units locally in Nova Scotia.
Oh, that's so what was I going to ask? Okay, let's actually just talk about the design because, like I said, a lot of people won't know. So, what is the product? We'll bring up pictures and that, but can you sort of describe it from a mechanical and a hydraulic sense, and sort of how you designed it?
Well, we have two different models of attachments. So we have the DD15, which is was on a 4 to 12 ton mini excavator, and then we have the DD22 that's a heavy duty version that goes on a 13 to 25 ton excavator. So so the units are very robust, very heavily built, and uh, the kind of the neat part that really sets it apart from any other attachment is it's a multi-use attachment, multi-purpose. So the outer portion of it that we call the scroll case, so the working component, can be removed and different scroll case could be put in its place. So to do a different function altogether. So right now we have a wet and dry scroll case. So one that the wet scroll case can work in from semi-dry to up to 3 feet of water conditions, and it effectively removes the material from the bottom of the channel, so it's not taking a lot of you know excess water. It's removing debris from where it needs to be removed from, and we've had a lot of interest. That was kind of the product that we initially invented here in Nova Scotia, because there's always an abundance of water on the wetlands and in the ditches here. So then we had a lot of interest from the prairie provinces, and to work with something that would work in a different climate, something that would work in the summer conditions and dry conditions. So that kind of was interesting, and we actually come back from a trip to Manitoba, and we designed a new scroll case and manufactured it, and so we made it so it can be removed and new scroll case put on in its place. So it's kind of like say you get the main body with the hydraulics and the quick attach,
Right.
and then the outer portion can be kind of like a cordless drill.
Right.
Different implements to do different functions.
I mean, that must have opened up a whole new world to the business because, and that's one of the questions that I had coming into this interview is the different materials, and there's, I'm sure there's overgrowth, and there's all sorts of things that happen along any sort of body of water, especially agriculture land where it's getting water and fertilization and all this sort of stuff. So did that open up even to new industries once you could actually switch out essentially the guts of the unit?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. And phosphates and nitrate here all the time, phosphates and nitrates getting into the lakes and rivers and streams and creating algae blooms and, you know, buffer zones are becoming a common practice. People are starting to adapt. The buffer zones actually play a huge role in eliminating erosion and pollution that makes it actually into the waterways. And two-stage ditches is what it's a big issue trying to create them. And we actually just kind of stumbled upon that we are able to create a two-stage ditch with this attachment. So it's it's unlike any other attachment on the market, and it definitely, like, there's a lot of use for municipalities, like where it now can work in drier conditions. It opens up a huge opportunity in a lot of regional municipalities. So
When I was a kid playing hockey, we had a coach that was really new to the game, and he was volunteering. His son was playing, so he was trying to learn the game. So he was asking us, giving us tests on the game, but he was actually using that to learn. So he was asking us what offside was. Like we didn't know, but he actually didn't know. So I'm gonna do that for the audience that doesn't know. What is a two-stage ditch?
well, so just picture I should have a photo of it, but there's so a single stage. So the V channel at the bottom, when it's able in the air, when it's drier conditions and water is levels are low, smaller stream of water. So that smaller stream of water is going to carry less material, like more material, and meander it, carry it downstream, as opposed to having it settle out and in a wide meandering
Oh, okay.
channel. So that's kind of the single stage is to handle the water during low volumes of water, and then but still move it effectively and efficiently. And then the second stage would be the larger V at the top. That would be the larger volume. So when in the springtime, when there's a flush or flood, it can handle that large volume of water. So that'd be the second stage. So
Yeah, that's and you're like you said, your unit is able to facilitate both levels essentially of a two stage, right?
yes, yep.
Um, I want to talk a little bit about the getting into the market because not easy. I know that even if it's a great invention, it's a great product. You like you said, you went out to Manitoba and then you figured out a new design that would help it be more adaptable, essentially. So can you talk, is it sort of a fresh memory, a couple projects or customers that really stand out for you, that sort of got you commercially ready and actually had the machine operating or the attachment operating?
Yeah, I've had some good opportunities from some of my customers, some of the early believers in the product. Um, the Hills in Nova Scotia, Canada, Charles Hill and Son. They've been a big supporter of mine from day one, and have given me the opportunity and the actual playing field to test the product and to make it work the bugs out of it and make it so I could take it commercially. John Martin from Martin Drainage in Arthur, Ontario. He flew to Nova Scotia, and I did a demonstration for him, and he ended up buying a unit, and he bought a second scroll case as well. So, and he's been actively working the unit in Central Ontario. And Eric Ransom of Ransom Attachments, excuse me, Eric also flew up to Nova Scotia, and I did some demos, and he signed on as a dealer in the U.S. So he's based at Lumberton, New Jersey, and his company's Ransom Attachments. And yeah, he's made some headway in Illinois. Actually, he rented the unit to Great Lakes Stock and Dredge, and they used the unit in one of their projects in Illinois.
That must be a pretty satisfying feeling to bring a product like that onto market, because it's like one of those things. It's like you said about asking your father if why has this not been this system been upgraded. That must be a pretty incredible feeling to take a product, design it, manufacture it, release it into the market, and you've got dealers and operators actually taking your product into the market.
Yeah, it's very overwhelming, actually. It's been a long road to get to this point, with a lot of help from my partner and wife, Carol. She's been a huge support for us, and we've been, it's been a long road getting here, but yeah, we feel we're on a good path, and we have good people behind us, and we're looking to continue to expand and grow, and we're not going to give up until Ditch Doctor is a go-to method, and we're in for the long haul.
And it's obviously nice to give credit to people that support you. I mean, in our business, we've had very similar. It's people that actually keep you going, sometimes more than you even realize it. The the unit itself, is it now, because you can change it out so that it can adapt to different environments? Is there a lot of new development that's going to keep coming that you're looking at, or is it a pretty solid product, right? Is it market ready for all the environments that you're wanting to target, or are there new things that you're already looking at?
No, absolutely. That's the cool thing about the product, is that it's where we made that scroll case removable. So now any rotary attachment,
Mm.
any rotary power unit, it can supply. So literally the applications are endless. So we have the two. We actually have the two that are up and working. We have a third prototype we're working at that's pretty well complete. Then we have two more that's we're just in the engineering phase now, and looking to follow through and build and do some testing, and definitely going to open up a huge opportunity in vegetation management sector.
Yeah, it's very exciting. Yeah, Adam, that's why I wanted you on the show, because what you're doing, and then just to add a little more excitement, you've actually introduced another product onto the market. And that's well, you've got it behind you. I'm looking over your screen here. It's Dredge Doctor. Talk about that. Obviously, there's a lot of mining people, so and I know it's obviously used for other things than mining, but all the dredgers out there are now paying attention. So talk a little bit about that product.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of stumbled upon it through one of my customers, a good customer, Fox Harbor Developments, Fox Harbor Resort in Fox Harbor, Nova Scotia. They're a golf resort, but they have a marina there as well. So a private marina for their boats. It's right on the Northumberland Strait, so the body of water between Nova Scotia and Prince Edward Island. And they had an issue with the channel that goes out into the marina from the ocean, fills in with sand and silt. So the only way they could do it was bring a barge in. So they brought a barge in and used the barge, and then so the next time we seen them, they came to us, and they wanted to do it, but so we did it the next time, and we had to build finger roads out just to reach the actual channel, which was quite time consuming and very, expensive, and like I say, adds a whole nother uh, timeline on the schedule, just the actual logistics. So we took and I proposed to Mr. Joyce at the time and his son that I build an extension to reach out into the channel so we don't have to build the roads out as far. So they thought it was a great idea and agreed that if I built it, they would use it. So we built one, took my machine from 60 feet up to 73 feet. So we used it and it was very effective, and the cut considerable amount of time off the build or the actual dredging project. So then a couple of years later, we were over. Actually, my wife and I went there for an anniversary, and we went in and we were talking to Mr. Joyce, and mentioned that the project went well last time, and that I proposed that if we built a longer one, we could even shorten the time frame and make it. We wouldn't have to move any rocks. We'd just be able to work off the shoreline. And he thought that was a great idea and agreed to use the method if I built it. So I worked at building the unit, and we made this one. So it's up to 85 feet now. So it's a under 30 ton excavator, and has the capability of reaching 85 feet or 26 meters. So we used that on the next time we did the dredge the channel, and it worked great. We didn't have to haul any rock. We didn't have to move anything, just dredging and the extension activity.
Well, I was thinking the sorry rest of Canada, but I think the only place that could compete with BC for just being beautiful landscape is Nova Scotia. And that could be a debate that would go on forever. My sister is out there with her husband and kids, so I've been out there and it's just unbelievable. Even pictures don't do it justice. So out in Nova Scotia, is there a because there's even municipalities in that it's so much about tourism and sort of preserving the beauty that is the province. Does that open a lot of opportunities because both products that you're delivering are there's so it's so much less strain on not just the environment but the aesthetics of the environment that you're working in.
Yes. No, I think that's just something that means a lot to me, and I think that's something that means it's just a common sense practice. I guess in my way of thinking. Unfortunately, no, it really hasn't been adapted by the government here, or doesn't really appear to be a priority. But we're struggling and working towards making that a priority and offering them an alternative method and an alternative solution to many other problems.
When you go out into you mentioned going out into Manitoba and then you adapted the product and I know one of your dealers, I believe they're out in New Jersey. So when you're going out, are people pretty receptive, or does it take a lot of work just to sort of get in the door, or because this product is because you do have videos and you have these images and showing it, it's pretty clear what it does. Is it a challenge to get to the door, or are people pretty open?
No, I think it's definitely a challenge trying to change people's mindset and change people's way of thinking. Definitely, a lot of people change equals work, and it's all relevant to their workload and whether they're willing to accept change, or so even they have to be looking for change, I guess, before they even know it's out there.
Mm.
Um, it doesn't seem like where it's a new product, new method, you know, doing it the old ways just a lot sometimes easier, just
Yeah.
because that's all they know, right? So, definitely it's struggle getting people to I guess number one realize there's something else out there, and for them to want to look for an alternative method.
What's the part that you enjoy the most, Adam, out of this whole process? Like, was it the design, getting it out into the market, testing it? Is there certain stages that you really enjoyed that part of the process?
Oh yeah, absolutely. The most gratifying part of the whole project was realizing that it actually works.
That'll
That
do it.
was that was the biggest achievement, to know that everything that we're doing is all towards efficiency and effectiveness. That's kind of my two words I always seem to go back to as far as describing my products, and I think that says a lot for them for both of them to be able to be in that category.
They are both very strong products. There's, and I like that you were able to already, by the time you came on the show, it's already adapted, so it's across multiple industries. I hope you get a lot of good feedback from being on the show, Adam, because you really, and it's manufactured out of Nova Scotia, and it's Canadian, and it's already getting into the U.S. Like I said on earlier in the show, so it's pretty exciting. It's exciting for me to see companies like yours coming out of Canada. So thanks for coming on the show. I hope as it continues to expand, maybe a year from now you can come back on, because I obviously can tell this is just the start of what you're going to be accomplishing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'd love to give you an update and be able to show some of our new products that we're going to be bringing out. I'll have some more information on them, and how the two. One of the products is a pump application for some of the mining applications. The mining would be a huge advantage to the tailing ponds with a Ditch Doctor as a pump, and as well as Dredge Doctor attachment with
Right.
the ability to reach into the settling ponds and waterways.
Yeah, well, that would be exciting. Yeah, and hopefully maybe by that time we'll have a couple demos. We can actually see it working and everything like that. Thank you for coming on the show, Adam. I sincerely hope you come back.
Pleasure's all mine. Thank you both, and have a good rest of 2021.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you.
Okay, Gowdy.
Yes.
See, my persistence paid off.
You did it.
I did it. If it just when you do the show enough episodes, that people are going to like certain product lines. It's unique. Again, I keep saying it's coming out of Nova Scotia, it's being manufactured there. It's just a good story, and it's a good product. It's actually commercial. If you watch the show, you'll notice that a lot of our shows are commercial. We try to avoid um, sort of the criteria is to at least have had pretty heavy testing on a product to come
Mhm.
on the show, just because we don't want to come a show where we're just doing ideas. So
Yeah.
as soon as I see something commercial that's at commercial level, I want to have it on the show.
Yeah.
So thanks again to Adam. Gowdy, where can people follow us, like us, suggest guests? Thank you for doing that so much, everybody. I just got another message this morning, so I got to look into that. Where can people go to do all that?
All right. So don't forget, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We've got 2 episodes a week on there. I continue to say we're moving up to 3 soon.
Very soon, actually.
Yes. So continue to subscribe, to watch every single episode from not just the Crownsmen show, but Mining Now, Crownsmen Energy. And if you want to be part of it, whether it's as a guest, a sponsor, or to recommend someone else, contact us info@crownsmen.com, but do it soon because we're getting super booked. So I see messages for like June. So
It's crazy. Well, it's the long form.
Yeah.
At the beginning, Rory was talking about podcasts, and I don't know. Maybe I was born in the 40s or something. I'm not sure what happened, but I never listened to podcasts. Didn't even know what a podcast was till a few years ago. And he's like, "No, people want." I was like, "Do people really want to listen to an hour?" Apparently, they do.
A
So
lot
I
of
and I
people,
and
yeah.
and I think that's why we're getting booked up like that. So
Yeah.
thank you, Gowdy. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you again to Adam and his wife Carol for helping us put the show together. We will see you on the next episode of The Crownsman Show.